Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to part 3 of Series 1 of our Tri-County Nova Scotia Craft Beer Series. And today we have a very, very lovely beer and a brewery called Heritage. Heritage Brewing Co., to be exact. Now, Heritage is one of the newer breweries in the area. Uh, they haven't been going on for very long, about 2 years old, give or take. They've undergone a recent expansion, and we're going to talk all about that in a few minutes. But like the other two, and the two to come after it, let's start with a little bit of history. Currently, they're in downtown Yarmouth, Nova Scotia. Originally, they were at the Kirk Street location in Yarmouth, which they still have some operational facility there. To my knowledge, things are being moved over to the Main Street, the current Main Street location, and the entirety of the operation will be on the Main Street site, hopefully by sometime in the fall. Incidentally, when we do our second part of our craft beer series, we will be going to all of the breweries, including Heritage, and at that point we will get to see them in hopefully full capacity, and it'll be very, very exciting. They're currently at 250 Main Street, which is in the south end of Main Street, toward the ferry terminal, for anybody who's coming off of the ferry, any of our American listeners or viewers. If you're looking for beer, these are definitely a great group of people to see. So, who are they? We've got 4 owners currently at Heritage. We have Jason Murphy, who also happens to be the brewmaster, and he makes a fine brew, I must say. We have Albert Whitaker, we have Jeff Bain, and we have Drew Jackson. So Albert, Drew, Jeff, and of course Jason make up the ownership team, as well as, of course, the lovely staff, who are a great, great group of people, and who will take very good care of you if you ever go in there and want anything that they provide. It's a great place to be. The current brewery is just a lovely, lovely place. They have a very contemporary look, and they've used plank flooring, and there's raised different textures and different patterns, very visually striking. I would say one of the most striking visually of any of the breweries in the area, especially the new spot. The branding, as you can see here, the Heritage Lighthouse. This is the Yarmouth Lighthouse, which anybody who comes here will tell you is shaped a little bit like a torch. It's a bit of a different looking lighthouse than the ones you may have seen along the U.S. seaboard or even the Canadian eastern seaboard otherwise. It's kind of unique. I'm unaware of another one that looks like it, although anybody who'd like to tell me that there is, by all means, go ahead. Of course, on the back, as with all the growlers, we have a bit of a story. And of course, I have to do the bottle justice. So, let's try this. The misty fogs of the rugged coastal town of Yarmouth, Nova Scotia, is home to the Heritage Brewing Company. Where the rocky cliffs meet the pounding surf, you can find the unique flavors of hops and grains used by the small batch brewing company. Founded in 2017 by 4 friends, they join a long-held maritime brewing tradition by making small batches of high-quality craft beer. Yarmouth, Nova Scotia. www.heritagebrewing.beer. Okay, so Heritage. What have I tried from Heritage? Oh, well, I've tried everything they have, actually, but we'll highlight a few of them. So I'd like to talk about the Freezing Spray IPA. We'll start there. The Freezing Spray would be something I would say of a mid-range in the hop quality. So if you really like your hops, might not quite have the punch you're looking for, you may want to go up to a double IPA. But I find it very pleasant, very easy to drink. A couple of them, and you're sort of where you need to be. As with most IPAs, you can't just bang back 7 or 8 of them unless you're really experienced with drinking that kind of beer. It's definitely not for everybody, but I think it's a great beer. So Kilometer Zero, interesting story there. When we talk about Kilometer Zero, we talk mainly about the end of the highway. So Yarmouth, for anybody who doesn't know, is actually at the beginning or the end, but we'll say the beginning because the numbers reflect that way. The beginning of the highway 101 and 103. So if you take the 101, you go north toward Digby, and if you take the 103, you go east sort of southeast toward Shelburne. But they converge at Yarmouth at kilometer zero. So this beer was created to reflect Yarmouth's kind of beginning purpose. You know, this is the beginning of Nova Scotia. This is the beginning of the highway. This is the beginning of this part of Atlantic Canada. And the beer itself is just great. Cream ale is usually a little bit for folks who don't want a lot of complex flavors and things kind of knocking you around. And this cream ale achieves that. It's very, very, very level and a little bit sweet, but not so sweet that you know, kind of that sour face. Ugh. No, it's not that bad. It's actually quite lovely and pairs really, really nicely with fish in particular. Next, we're going to talk about the 1840 Porter. Now, I'm a huge stout man, and I love stouts, porters, anything dark. I'm there. This porter may be the best porter I have ever had, and it's actually the only porter I believe of any of the five companies in the area that makes it regularly. So 1840, we're talking about the year that this guy opened, the lighthouse. Yarmouth seafaring history, for anybody who doesn't know, very well known in the area. We've had a lot of commerce and trade between Canada and the United States through Yarmouth. We still do, thanks to our ferry. But this lighthouse has been integral to all of Western Nova Scotia for a long time, thanks to our inclusion between Canada and the U.S. through Yarmouth, and of course this lighthouse has been a part of that. The porter itself, very chocolatey, very, very just warm and enveloping, and it's got a lot of body. I found some stout and porter over the years a little thinner and not quite doesn't quite have that full body. This guy does. So if you like a really big beer, that's a great one for you. Um, but if you don't and you want something a little bit more mellow, you want to try what I've heard the most about of any of Heritage's beers, and I have tried myself, of course, which is their Rusty Truck. Now, the Rusty Truck is a red and comes in kind of I would say, again, a mid-range red kind of situation. Um, there's no beer on this planet that's for everybody, so each beer has to be taken separately. But I would say the Rusty Truck is probably that, or the cream ale is probably the most accessible thing that these guys at Heritage make. Full-bodied, but not overwhelming, like some of the beers that I've had in different places over the years, where you just and you got to go back and you're looking for your keys, and no, it's not that bad. It's a really smooth beer, and if you're going there and you don't know what to get, I'm going to tell you right now, if you see Rusty Truck or Kilometer Zero on the menu, and you don't like either one of them, I don't know what to tell you. The only other one I want to talk about, because of course I can't get away without talking about stout if you make a stout, is their stout, which is known as the Gale Force Stout. For you stout drinkers out there, stop listening right here, go get it. If you don't drink stout, more for me, I guess would be my thing. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. Just yum. Ah, so good. So that's a few beer that they make. I don't think I even covered half of them in terms of what they have on their regular menu. There's some other things that they do, session IPAs and double IPAs, and I think they have a blonde and some different things that I haven't quite had a chance to really sit with. I've tried them all, but really sit with them and spend some time and take the time to really appreciate what Jason has done with these beers. My overall impression, um, these beers are really powerful. This is a small batch brewery. And I want to emphasize that for a minute, because I've heard the only complaint I've heard about Heritage, absolutely at all, is that they run out of beer. And that's a really good complaint to have, because their batches are smaller. Your control is different than if you had this massive thing that, say, one of the big guys might have, where you've got everything's automated and they're just pushing buttons and stuff's happening and life goes on. Here, this is a really hands-on beer. I would say in some cases maybe the most hands-on of any of them, and you can kind of get that in the beer. You kind of get the okay. You can almost feel it, and the power, and again the full flavored, full bodied, really aromatic beer. These guys make a really excellent brew, and again, it's something different for everybody. But I will be absolutely flabbergasted if you go to Heritage and there's not a beer that you like, at least one, you've got to go. You got to check them out. The guys are great. The staff is amazing. Super, super lovely people. The location, the new location, is beautiful. It's really well situated between a few things, and the local history. Every beer kind of has a name that reflects something to do with Yarmouth or the local region. Um, it's just a really feel good kind of place to be. And now, because it's kind of getting on its feet, we have more and more events there. We have music there. There's stuff going on all the time. It's always getting bigger in terms of the exposure to what they have and what they do. Uh, and you're just going to see it get to the point where you're not going to be asking me, should I go? You're asking me why I can't get in or why they run out of beer again, because it's just that good. Check it out. 250 Main Street, Yarmouth, Nova Scotia. Currently, your growler fills are going to still be at Kirk Street, but that will change very soon. And then you'll be going there for all of your craft beer needs. Check them out. Enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. And next week, we'll be doing the fourth brewery in our Series 1, which of course will be the Tuscan Falls Brewing Co. Take care. I'll see you soon.